welcome again to another edition of Cooper's Corner. I realize parent-teacher conferences are coming up in a few weeks. You might be starting to think about it already. I just thought I'd put out some ideas for how that could look. First thing, I love the open house. The first year I was here, we tried to do all 15-minute one-on-one meetings. It can be a lot. In fact, at that point I was in 3 classes and we ended up continuing parent-teacher conferences for a couple weeks after and coming in, and it didn't work. So what we do now is the long day, we get Trina to block it out for bookings, and that becomes our open house, student-led conferences. There are, however, some kids that we might want a one-on-one meeting with parents, and parents might want a one-on-one with us. So we tell the kids if their parent really wants that, or if we want to contact them about that, that'll happen on the short day. So you do still have that option, but for the majority of kids, this just works better for everyone. So what does that open house look like? I'm just gonna project, oops, I meant to pull it up already, document here. Sorry, I thought I had it up, I didn't. So this is what I project when the kids come in. So we do student-led conferences for the open house. And this is something I've gone over with my kids the day of, so they know what to expect. Mr. Briscoe has a similar but different thing up in his room. So when the kids come in, this is on the overhead, and they're to do certain things with their parents. Student-led conferences, you do not need to complete these directions in order. I tell the kids if they see me in the room not talking to a parent, that's a good opportunity for, I think, number 6. We talk about introductions, that's a good skill. Introduce your parents or guardians to Ms. Cooper, Mr. Briscoe, Mr. Hilder, and your expo teacher. I'm actually gonna jump back. What are you talking about when they're talking to you? Wrong screen. When they are talking to you, things to keep in mind, you and the parent and the student. If you can, have that student there and get them to speak. Always thinking about the sandwich. Starting with something positive, maybe addressing some more challenging things in the middle, ending on a positive note. So I'll say something like, student, what are some things that have gone really well for you this term? Where are some areas of growth? What was a highlight, something you're really proud of? Start positive. But we do have to be honest. If we have concerns, make sure you have an example of the concern. Again, if you can, get the student to address it. Student, what are some things that are continuing to be a struggle for you? What changes do we hope to see? Student, how can we improve that? What do we think would make the next term better? How do we hope to get there? We are working as a team. You as the teacher, the parent, and the student are all trying to work together on the same team to help this student be successful. So we're being honest. We're acknowledging there's room for growth. We're talking about what the growth should look like, how we're going to get there, trying to put a really positive spin on it. Very similar to a report card. Other thing, if we're talking academics, which we should be, have evidence. So when I'm going, whether it's the open house and I'm meeting with the teacher or parents, or if it's the one-on-one meetings, I have my clipboards and I have evidence. For my math, I have sort of all their progress written on this clipboard here. I mentioned this when we talked about the writing assessments, my year in writing. This is something I love. I already have in this file folder, and the students have them in their writing files as well, evidence of their writing. So it's something we can pull out, I can have the student look at with their parent, we can talk about it. It's that third point, something that we're looking together at and we're discussing based on the evidence in front of us. Let's jump back to what the parent is seeing in the student-led conference. So I think the best thing is for the parent to see the student in action. This is a taste of their life as a student. The kids also get to highlight the best parts. They love to show their locker. They can show off some artwork. I will have things written up there. So for English, Grab your writing folder. Read your favorite writing thing to them. Explain the self-assessment. So the parent is seeing a sample of the writing. They will recognize whether there are some concerns or no concerns. They're looking at the assessment rubric. Now they're seeing why their student is proficient, developing, extending, emerging, and the student is explaining it to them. Read your poem from an author, so that was something else. Explain a literary device. These are things we were working on last winter, so that was focused on in March. But for this fall, I will probably have something like read your writing assessment to your parent. Then the parent gets to see the reading and the writing. Trying to think of other things. Maybe I do like a little grammar practice sheet. So maybe I'll say to the student, grab a grammar practice sheet like we've been doing in our short English, one for you and one for your parent, and try and complete them in a little race, see who can find the most errors. I want the parent to see how their child is doing. Maybe read that to the parent. I have students for socials, so think about something significant in that class you want them to share. I was doing a Flintstone debate thing last winter, so I said read your part from the Flintstone debate, explain the assessment. French, I have like a simple little pink dialogue. Read a small pink dialogue with your parent or a guardian. Tell them what the different questions and answers mean. It's giving the parent or guardian immediate feedback. Can my kid read this? Does my kid remember what it says, or do they not? For math, I like to have, it was multiplication, but I'll probably do adding, a little like drill type thing. I think I have some here, looks like this. I have again the parent and the child take one. It's a little race, gives the parent immediate feedback. Can my kid do these basic math facts, or is this maybe something they should be working on at home? We have a math log showing get them to log into IXL, which is the math program my students use. They have a log they're working through. So I want them to go and show the parent, how far are they in their log? Show them they know how to log into IXL, because that way they can do it at home if the parent and student recognize, oh, I'm actually a little bit behind where I should be. So maybe this is something, look, I can do it here, I can do it at home too. And again, that formal introduction to the teacher. Trying to think of anything else that's necessary. If you are concerned about a meeting, remember you always have the right to invite an administrator with you. That would probably happen better in the one-on-one, because then you know the timing. Whereas the open house, they come and go. The open house is just, I love it because it's so much more informal. They come in, they chat with me for a few minutes. The kid is doing the majority of the work by showing their highlights, by making clear to the parent where they are academically. I'm reiterating that with a short conversation. And also just then multiple can be in here at the same time. You're not rushing from one 15-minute meeting to the next. And I don't know, it's nice to see the kids showing off their stuff. Mr. Lauser, is there anything you can think of that you would, you'd like? What would any suggestions you have?
I think I really like the combination of open house with some 15-minute one-on-one meetings. I think on the resource or EL side, those other people who love being in those meetings for the kids on a caseload, if you do your best to keep to the schedule so that we're not waiting awkwardly with a parent outside saying, yeah, I'd love to talk about your kid. And if it goes too late, then you have to say, actually, I don't have time now. Or you just, it goes late and people are like laughing in there. And maybe like, it just seems like that parent out there might feel neglected.
Yeah.
Especially if they came off a 12-hour shift. They just got here, they made it in time, and now they're waiting. Delaying their dinner, maybe.
Yeah.
You know? Cool. So just try to be on time as much as you can. That way, resource and ELL can go between our meetings, because we're all in different pods, right? As efficiently as possible.
Beautiful. I think that's all I can think of for now. Thank you very much, Mr. Lauser.